Uh, hey everyone. This is CC Husker, or CC as you can call me. Um, so I haven't uploaded in a long time, but if you don't know me, I do speed paints and uh, I do gaming. But I haven't done gaming and speed paints in a long while due to me just not having a lot of motivation and just kind of busy with school and all. Um, but I hope to do more speed paint since I have gotten a new tablet that actually works and I actually have motivation to share more with you. And I don't know, last year before quarantine came along, I was having a bit more time to discover myself. But anywho's, so what you see here is, if you don't remember on the channel, I did a speed paint, but wasn't very edited. It wasn't that great. But this is Elements Rising, and I did the line art because I did the line art originally because of how motivated I was, but then I'm like, no, I'm gonna record it because this is a big piece. So yeah, everything was on the fly, but I hope to introduce you guys to these characters. So Elements Rising is my dream series to do. It's one of them, alongside another series, another story I have an idea for, which is Twice Bitten's Curse, but I can't go into depth until I do a speed paint about them and the characters in here. So, as you can see here, we have like a couple characters. Some of them are not even in this, who are in this story are in here. So, let me get a general consensus. I have to look at my script. But, so I drew the sketch a long while back in the winter of 2019 to early 2020. So yeah, the characters you see here, some of them are in the original speed paint and some of them are cut from the speed paint. I cut some of the villains from the speed paint this time around because these guys play a more major role, and some of them don't even come into like a major part of the story until like later on, probably like the second season, if I would say it, or part 2. But anywho's, so the characters, the main consensus is the elementals, their world, I'll explain this more when I do the original elementals and all that. But the original elementals, they were a very strong group of people, and they protected the world, or their region, because of the gifts that their region's magical trees, or the trees that, I can't, the trees, are the mental entities of their world, and their region, well, it affected some of the children, and some of the children either got judged severely and several. But the characters in this timeline are present-day characters. So we have, I'll explain more general consensus, but the character that I'm coloring in right now is the Voice Planet, and the one we saw before. So the one we're coloring right now, she's I'll just explain them here. So, so the story is consensus here is the light. It's a battle of basically fate and reality, as I would say it now. It just seems like a battle of who are you and what you are, and even if your past self does not defy you, if you wish to change your name and everything, change your destiny, change the fate that happens. Let's go. So, okay, let's look here. Sorry. In the old story, Elements Rising, the original people, I originally had a different character for the fire elemental. So, I had to cut a few things and I had to remove some characters just to make it feel like more my story and not like an old friend of mine's, and that I don't really have much time or the want to interact with because of what happened this year and everything. So, but yeah, so the characters are well, I can't explain who we are, but the one I'm coloring right now is Abigail, and Abigail is, well, let's just say she is a very very fine character. As I see her being very serious, very stoic, but she is very caring to her brothers and her sister, who does make an appearance later on, but you have not seen her. And the character I was coloring before was Juniper, and Juniper is she's a Mayflaw and the water elemental. But yeah, I had a lot of time coloring this, and when I get to a character, I'll talk more. So the characters in the beginning, what I originally planned for this story was, okay, there's gonna be elementals these guys are fighting for. I never had the idea, me and the person that I did this originally with, we wanted to have an idea, but the thing was, we were like 8th graders when we first came up with this, and so I didn't touch this story until, like, again, this year in 10th grade. So I didn't really pick up on it, and I was like, this story has very bad plotting. I want to do this one day. I have to give these characters more meaningful names and such. So I renamed some of them, so we don't have some of them anymore being named like common names like Ash and all that. I can't say. But so the characters I'm coloring in right now is Zier. Zier is, well, as I would call him, the character in the middle, that is the character in the middle of the poster. So I originally lined them up differently than the original time. So the original one was more wild, more sporadic, more amateur, as I call it. So I lined them everyone up so their importance was in the middle, and some of the side characters in their poses. I have improved a lot on my humans, as you can see here. I hope to do more. But yeah. Okay, the characters. The characters are redone, as I said. So I'll briefly go over. So we have Cece, as you don't know. She's the girl that you'll see here in a bit. So probably, I don't know when I colored her and all that. So, but I'll go over everyone here. So Cece is my persona, but she is my person in the story. My point in putting the story in. But she has a mysterious past, and in the beginning you don't understand it at first, and then, well, I had like ideas for her. Like, she was originally gonna be a werewolf or a mayflip, and I'm like, no, she's gonna be human. But there's like a laugh about this human. But yeah, we go here. Zier, he's our werewolf. He's stoic, strict. He's a strict boy, but he has a very dark secret, and well, he just has a very dark secret, and he's just he at first will seem like he at first will probably seem kind of like a jerk. But he means well. He's just not sure. But I'm super happy with his redesign of the clothing and the armor. I've gotten a better understanding of armor and jewelry and all that. I'm not really great with clothing. As you can see here, I'm not great at clothing. I'm better at drawing expressions and getting an idea for what I wanted to pose. But clothing is just a difficult matter in drawing. I've gotten a lot better at shading too. So okay. So you remember Juniper? Juniper's the girl with the blue hair. So Juniper, she is kind of the kawaii-chan of this series, but she is not. She's very sweet. She's uplifting, but she kind of has her downs, and she's just kind of, I see her playing a very big part. It's just hard to describe her in one word. She's kind of like the girl that is really sweet and kind and tiny, and she's just like, oh, so wholesome. I just know how to describe her. But right now, oh yeah, we're on the twins. So this is Aspen and Oakland. Oakland and Aspen are twins. I had originally a bunch of twins in here. I had to cut the loose of the twin thing, and there's a lot of things that are not even finished, or like some characters who are not even fully fleshed out. I have a hard time explaining ideas of mine, because of how hard it is to explain them. When text is kind of easier. I don't know why text is so much easier. But these two, they're descendants of the earth elemental. When I draw the elementals, when I do that piece, I have not touched it since I scanned it in on my new tablet. But anyway, so they're elves, and their family, these two will be very big characters. I'm going to tell you this much. They will be the first characters you'll probably meet on screen. One with Cece. They'll be the characters that'll be like the most observant, the most parenting. But yeah, these two, I was like, okay, we gotta give these guys some justice. Last time I gave them not much ideas for, but I've improved my idea of clothing and everything. But there are a few things you gotta learn digital art. The one mistake I did make was not laying out the background before getting on to drawing the characters and coloring them in and readjusting their poses. When I was coloring them in, I had to readjust things as I went along. So yeah, it might seem a bit weird if you see a bit of missing stuff. That's because I did the main mistake of not putting my background in first. I have now learned that lesson. I have learned that lesson. So I will post some pictures on screen if you want. But right now we're on Scott. Scott is our boy. He has changed a lot. He is a demon still. But I have not talked about Scott. He's the demon with the red clothing and the brown hair. But he and his family, they've changed a lot. I've not explained them like on voice before, because I've never talked about them with you guys before. You've seen pictures of them. You've seen the speed paint image, little snippet videos of them. But yeah, their process is very different now. I'm like, okay, these guys are getting a whole reboot. The whole thing needs some fixing. I was like, okay, we're going to give these guys some justice. We're going to redo their story to be a bit more proper if I ever do decide to do it. So if you see me putting a little more color in there, I had to set up their palettes first when I first started to color them. Like, I had to set up their palettes. Oh, Juniper's being colored in. So, yeah, there's Juniper. Juniper is the descendant of the water elemental. But the thing is about the water and the fire elemental, they were siblings. So, Juniper is a reincarnation, but it won't be explained that she is. But she is a living look-alike of her great ancestor. But she and her sister Caladia, they are children of the leaders of their village, which is close by to the ocean as I can see it. And, well, Juniper had a very hard start to life. Due to the magic effects of the elementals, I'll explain the elementals effects, powers of the elemental trees and everything. But the tree, and, well, elementals, oh, we're moving on here. But yeah, so the tree, the magic sometimes affects the born elementals in a very negative way and all of that. But yeah, so yeah, so a lot of the characters are very different, as I can explain it. There's more characters that I never really thought of for when I first started coming up with ideas, mostly for this thing. I was like, there's gotta be some family problems here. We're gonna have some conflictional problems. It's just my way of kind of writing a story that's kind of similar to Diaries, but also different in the fun aspect of it. I like stories that have like a bit of adventure and that mystery in it, like Dragon Prince and Avatar has that a bit. Avatar's just a very different taste of TV series. But I like the series that has like so many twists and turns, like what can you learn next? What is else to learn? But that's just a fun thing about writing a story when it comes down to me. But I would love to share more of these ideas to you. Yeah. So the main plot of the story is that, well, the Dark Elemental's reign has lasted for too long. So the Dark Elemental and the Light Elemental, they're always constantly fighting in secret or known. And the region, one of the regions, I think it was Wind's Peak or something like that. I don't remember. But, was it? No. But one of the cities in a region, they took power because of the lack of, there's nobody to put us in place anymore. So yeah, that happened. And while Cece's village, they were discovered, and that village was known to having the light elemental. A couple was the next one to have it. The light elemental was to be born. They reborn there, and so they did. But the thing was, the people that were meant to get her, they didn't make it in time, or well, they didn't make it. They didn't figure out what happened, and you know, when villains do the bad thing of like, oh well, we let it slip away. But yeah, they probably thought she died. For what I can see, they did took care of all the kids, but they never seen the light elemental like the previous people have. But yeah, so Cece, she gets raised by a werewolf who finds her one day. So he finds her one day, and basically that whole kind of journey with August and little young light elemental Cece begins. But Cece doesn't really remember. But yeah, I will explain more of the plot, but I hope you guys enjoy this of me just rambling without my script. But this is the finished piece. I hope you guys enjoy it. I will leave a link to my DeviantArt and my Instagram that I ever post on the description below. I know this is a bit rushed, but I was like, I don't want to work on something that I don't want to work on. But yeah, I will do more proper videos soon. I just wanted to get a feel for this again. But yeah, I hope you like the end card and everything, and I will put links down. So yeah, thank you for watching, and if you'd like to see more, please tell me in the description below.